This video is for the person to edit the top part of the home page. And the top part of the home page is set up as this full screen picture with the phrase welcome to and then your team's logo. You're also going to need to supply me a copy of the logo because I'm going to need to work to be able to place it up in all the menus, and that's kind of complicated, so I'm going to do that for right now and let you guys edit that as the semester goes along. It also has this down pointing arrow. Then you're going to also edit this about our blog block with this text right in here. And then the second person is going to come on down and change out these photographs and the names and the bios for all the team members. And then I will be deleting the hedgehog images from down here, but this is just to show what's going to happen once everybody on your team starts to post their individual blog. It's going to automatically start to fill this area up down here. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start off with, again, to log on, if you are looking at the current homepage of your website, it should be looking something like this. All you have to do to log on is click after the URL name, put a slash, and then wp-admin, and hit return. If it's the first time you do it, it's going to probably ask you to type in your username and then your password. If you hit the remember me button when you log in, it should be able to bypass this step in the future when you just go to the WP admin section. So looking at all these different things, what you need to edit here is not a post, it is a page. So go click on Pages, All Pages. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this draft version or this duplicate of the home page, but I'll delete that as soon as this video is over so that you just have the home page to be able to edit. Hover over the name of it until I want to edit. And then it should pop up the page builder with all these different blocks and these things with these rows and these columns and everything else like that. That's what the entire page really is being built as, to be able to make it look like this. What I would say is, just to be on the safe side, when you open this thing up, and if for some reason you don't see these blue stripes and these builders, it's possible that it's looking like this on the very first time that you launch. If that's the case, come up here and find where it says Backend Editor, and it puts it in this mode. And then as soon as you do that, you save it, any kind of change, from then on, anytime you go work on a page, it should already be set up for this. I'd probably come over here to the right. There's really no reason for us to publish this right now or to save the draft because I haven't changed anything, but maybe hit preview just so that you will know that you're generating a fresh preview of what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the tab with the edit page. I'm going to scroll on down here, and here's the structure for most WordPress pages. This is an inner row placed within an outer row. This outer row, you can tell this tiny little circle right here is a preview of that picture of the hedgehog. And embedded inside of it is another set of rows, and this set of rows is all set up to be able to center the content. So there's an extra space before we get to the phrase welcome to, before we get to the single image, which is your logo, before we get to the icon pointing down, and then below it we have another outer row that then has an inner row that is set with some blank spaces on either side, just to make sure that the text for the About the Blog doesn't run the entire screen width, because that's very, very frustrating for anybody to try to read. It's a big rookie mistake. So let's go ahead and change the picture first. I go to the outer row, not the inner row, the one right beside the circle. Pencils are what edits in WordPress. So I'm going to click on Edit this row. I don't need to mess with anything on the front page. You can ask me if there's something that you'd like to modify in here, but go to Design Options. If you scroll down here, you're going to be able to see the photograph. It's just a square version of it, but you can tell there's the hedgehog. I don't want this image anymore. So I'm going to click on the red X to make it go away. Then I'm going to click on the green plus symbol. And then at that point, I can navigate to either find something that's already been uploaded, or you could go to Upload Files, and then go to Select Files and navigate till you're somewhere on your computer and till you're able to go ahead and find a photograph, the one that you're looking for. But in this case, mine's already in the media library, so let's just say I'm going to change it to this mountain picture. After you click on it to access it, You have to come down here until it says set the image. And then you have to wait a second. If I tried to close the Save Changes box on this row settings, before I see the tiny preview of my new picture, it's not going to save the change. So I have to wait long enough to be able to see this thumbnail. So sometimes that's 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Then hit Save Changes. And I know you really can't tell from this, but you might be able to see that we've already changed the background image slightly. So I'm just going to scroll back up here and hit Preview. And all it's going to do is it's going to replace that photograph of the hedgehog with, there's this mountain picture that I popped on there. Now as you're staring at it, you should be able to figure out, based on whatever image you uploaded, what color of logo do you need, or do you need to go back in and change it? Obviously this orange on orange isn't going to work. And I'm not so sure about this welcome to either. So I'm going to go back to Edit Page. I'm going to move on down to the text block. We're right above this slightly yellow letters that say welcome to, and I'm going to click the Edit the Text Box button by clicking on this pencil. I'm going to highlight this. It's going to say that it's been formatted for heading 2, so just leave that and ignore everything else on this row other than come here to text color. And this is going to allow me to grab this and change it to something else. Or if I don't like those options, I can go to custom, and you could, using something kind of like a Photoshop color picker, you could pick any color that you wanted to. So I'll just say, here, why not? Let's go with this weird pale green. Click OK. And by the way, if for some reason you don't see these second row of objects, that's because this hasn't been toggled yet. So if all you come in and you see is that and you don't see the color function, again, the first time you log in, it might be doing this. You find this icon here, hover over it till it says Toolbar Toggle, and it'll give you the second row where you can access the text color. And at that point, hit Save Changes. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit until I get on top of the single image. I'm going to click the pencil. Again, I move down here till I see the word image. I click the red X. I click the green plus. Either go to Upload Files, and I navigate to go find your copy of the logo, saved as a PNG file with a transparent background. Or I go to Media Library, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to click on this. Different logo so that you can see the change. And then I'm going to hit Set Image. There is some functionality below this that tells it how big this thing is supposed to be. I'm letting this set at full, but there's many different size options. So if it pops in and it's not the size you wanted, please contact me. Or you can go spend a couple hours reading about it on the internet. Try to figure that out. Just click Save Changes. And now that I've made those two changes, let's just hit Preview so that I can see what's going on here real quick. And that didn't seem to want to let us do that. So here, just had to wait an extra second. So hit the preview button. Let's see what's happened here. Yep, there's my background image. There's this color type. If you thought that would be better, there's your logo. One more thing you need to change in here, and you have to decide if this is a good color for this arrow telling people to scroll down. So I'm going to go find that. That's here in this icon. I'm going to click on the pencil on top of this icon. And let's just leave the icon what it is, the down arrow, rather than searching for a different icon. Let's move down. You can change the color of the icon, the background shape, which as of right now is set as a circle. And right now the background color is gray, so you could pick either to go to custom color, which again allows you to pop this up and search for whatever color you think would be more appropriate for what you're working on. You could try to come up with that same green color if you wanted to. Or rather than clicking custom color, you could pick one of these presets. Or if the gray works, leave it. Once again, I'm going to hit preview. It's just going to show this little change right here. And then obviously these things scroll around and move based on the size of the window that somebody is seeing. But they should always be fighting to be kind of centered in the middle of that box. Okay, last thing you have to attack is this About Our Blog section. So let's go back to our page. Let's scroll down a little bit. You'll be able to find this next row within a row, and all it is the About Our Blog. Forget the About Us and below. That's for the second person to do. So all this is in one text block. Just hover on top of it, click the pencil to edit. If you want to change this, you could say about and then the name of the blog, or you could just leave it like this. That's great. But again, this is set as heading 2. All of this text is set as just paragraph. So you could, at that point, go ahead and start to edit this. Type in whatever it is that you need to type in. And then at that point, again, ignoring this font name, just as long as all this is formatted as paragraph. Probably don't assign a new color to it. We just want it to be nice and dark on that white background. And when you're done, hit Save Changes. One more time, hit Preview. We should be able to tell that this, instead of being just like a line and a half wide, will get longer as soon as we've redrawn this. There we go. So now it's 3 lines and a little teeny bit. And at that point, we are good to go. But we're not going to come back and edit this one word out of here because, again, depending on how wide someone's blog is or how big their screen is, the text will reflow. So we don't want to come back in and try to edit this out by leaving this one orphan or this one, this one widow all by itself. That'll take care of itself as people have different size screens or as people are zooming in or zooming out on the entire thing. So at that point, you're done. Come back on over to the page, scroll on up here to the top, where it either says publish, or it's going to say publish for me right now because I'd opened up a draft. More than likely for you, this was set up as, let me just change the name slightly. You shouldn't have to do that. This should be for you a blue button that says update. All you have to do is hit update, and you're going to wait until this thing is done spinning. It's saving the change right now online. Well, again, that's what it would probably have looked like for you. Update when you were done with the changes. Maybe one more time, hit preview, just to make sure that it remembered everything that you did. Yep, your job's done. So you can now close that window, and then when you get back to this, you either have the option to go up here and hover on top of your name up in the top right corner and go to log out, or you could simply close the window, contact the other person on the team who's going to be person number 2 who's editing the bottom of the page, because your work is done.